all you recovering emo kids, Amanda and Robb here at the Emo Kids Anonymous podcast. And on today, your normal, typical Wednesday episode, Robb and I are here to talk about something kind of fun that always gets brought up.
We're going to gatekeep the shit
We're
out
gonna.
of you.
This is our one episode we might gatekeep a little bit, and mainly because on social media, if you are on TikTok or on Instagram, you see these people doing these how many of these emo songs do you know? And it's like, oh, you see Fall Out Boy, which we have argued is not really emo. Scott's Records will confirm it is not emo.
Yeah. Scott's Records is the law on this, and he says that.
Yes,
but even then,
and he
it's
says
okay.
it.
Maybe that's emo adjacent, but like
Emo
come
adjacent.
on.
But then all of a sudden,
Someone told me
Evanescence
Simple
pops up.
Plan.
Simple Plan, yeah.
Evanescence, Linkin Park,
Linkin Park. And then
Breaking
you're like,
Benjamins.
Linkin Park is not emo. And then you worry about the state of the internet and how if you Google things sometimes. Anyways,
If you type something like that, I think you should lose your voting privileges for at least the next 3 elections, not midterms. I'm talking full term presidential elections. If you tweet something like that, I'm sorry, brother, you lose your shit till 2036. You don't deserve it anymore. Anyways, I'm sorry, Amanda.
Anyways, it's
gonna be a whole episode.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that from the ranker list of top emo bands that is out there.
Jesus Christ.
To see who
This is gonna be
ranks the top.
stupid.
We're just gonna look at some of the bands like that we've mentioned just now and why people would even put them into the emo category in the first place. And then, of course, at the end of the day, does it matter? What's it all for?
It doesn't matter.
Why
What
is
does
it
anything matter
happening?
in the world?
Yeah, and we're just going to kind of wrap it up there. So before we do that, we always like to talk about, things that are happening in the scene and the news. And I think the first thing we really have to address is the epic hometown show of My Chemical Romance Black Parade Tour
That's pretty cool, huh?
this weekend in Jersey. It was quite the event. I watched a live stream. Shout out MCR Math, I think was the name of the person on TikTok who live streamed the entire thing from the pit. Fantastic.
Like seeing Frank, like it's so funny. Let me tell you. I recently showed showing Bruce Springsteen to Caitlin. I'm like, hey, check out. I'm like, this is Thunder Road, and as Thunder Road ends, it's like this is very My Chemical Romance. Like it just sounds like MCR, and it's like MCR to me, like it's so Jersey driven in a sense where it's like same thing, like Frank uploads his post and it's like Born to Run's on there. They play Bon Jovi at the show, which we'll talk about later on, but it's like there is this like My Chem to me, there's just something about New Jersey where it's very special, and there's just like we got to get the fuck out of here, and it's something so like grand and over the top and theatrical where it's like, yes, I understand how you can hear Thunder Road and then think of like Black Parade, My Chem. Like it sounds insane at first, but it's like, I see the connection here, it makes sense. And for them to get to play that show with Thursday, there was, and same thing, like obviously we're Team Fall Out Boy if any of these teams are teams. Like obviously we both love My Chem, but like,
yes.
We're not riding for My Chem like a lot of the hardcore My Chem fans are, but like we both love MCR. And like there was something special about this where same thing, like it's just I saw Blink 182 play at SoFi Stadium here in LA, and I'm pretty sure to this date it's their only like football like NFL stadium. Like they haven't played MetLife, they haven't played Soldier Field or fucking whatever. Like in San Diego, we don't have Qualcomm Stadium, shout out the Chargers, we don't have Qualcomm anymore. So in San Diego, they played Petco, but a baseball stadium is about 30 to 40,000 people. A football stadium is 60 to 70 to 80, So there's a huge difference. That home state show, like it's just like, if you're even slightly a fan of My Chemical Romance, there has to be this sense of pride you get where you're just like, this is so cool. They get the key to the city. This is silly shit. Like again, My Chem might seem so big, but if you were a My Chem fan, even 20 years ago to this date, so we're a year away from Black Parade being released. We're 3 singles deep into Sweet, 3 Cheers, and it's still it's big, but like you'd be getting bullied for this. And to think like this, the dorky bass player with the glasses who grows up to be this hottie, Frank, who grows up to be in these cool bands, Ray, the shredder. Gerard goes from being like this weird little dorky kid to being like kind of like the hot shot of the scene to being like, brother, you're like a Netflix tastemaker now. Like there
Yeah,
has to be a general sense of like, as much as, you know, and like we'll talk about in this episode and we talk about in other interviews where it's like, I don't love this era of emo as much as other stuff. Like this is the fucking pinnacle. Like
it is.
My Chemical Romance is the pinnacle. The word emo, yes, are they an emo band? I don't know if they are or not. I guess not. Musically, by the time their third record happens, they're not, and there's only four
Yeah,
of them. But like when people think of this word, they think of My Chemical
they will
Romance. And
always think of
My Chemical Romance is not a terrible, they're very good. They're very good, you know, carriers, you know, torchbearers, I guess you'd say.
of the scene, yeah, and I
Yes.
think, Jeff from Thursday had posted about how amazing it was to see
Right?
them perform.
No, because legitimately, like when I think of like the Jeff, because I believe it's basically the gist is like I go outside with Mikey for a cigarette and I'm like, bro, you
Like,
guys are gonna be so big. He's like, Thursday big? Like, no, like good Charlotte big? Like,
you're
motherfucker.
at
Yeah.
it.
And also Nelson Mandela by fucking Jeff Rickley. That's bullshit, brother.
I know I saved it though. It should be in my likes. If I go to, like, my did I bookmark it? No, I don't need to do that. Let's see. Nope. I know. I was like, "You"
Yeah, Jeff, and it's like that is, I mean, very few bands in our world, in our scene, in any
exactly.
sort of alternative shit has headlined a football stadium. Like, has Green Day ain't doing SoFi Stadium, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know
No,
who is. I don't literally Fall Out Boy ain't doing that.
no.
Blink has done it. Blink has done one stadium in their whole existence in North America. Like, this is shit Metallica does, or The
Yeah.
Weeknd, or Taylor Swift. Like,
Taylor Swift would have to.
it's amazing. It's legitimately amazing. Shout out
Yeah.
Mike Chem. You know, yeah, Ray, I know you're listening to this right now. You know,
We
Frank, like,
know.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah. But I think the best thing about it, at least in terms of the Thursday thing, to just close that one out, is the fact that if someone had pointed out that they had not only was Jeff there, right, but they were playing, some of the first songs they wrote with him.
Specifically, yeah, they did like
Yes.
turnstiles, you know?
Yeah, Skylines and Turnstiles, and that's, like, the first song, like, so that's a big moment for all of them, I think, in addition. But, of course, we have to talk about the fact that they chose to close the song out, not with Helena, which is the second to last song, but with Jon Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer," which
Jonathan Bon Jovi. For a
look,
second, they said something about, you know, like they're gonna play, you know, the national anthem of New Jersey, I believe they said, right? That's what
yeah,
they
so I
said?
was like,
Something like
"Wait,"
that?
so yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
"Wait."
they're about to do Born to Run, the obvious
Yeah,
anthem of New
I was like,
Jersey
"Okay, it's a Bruce
by
Springsteen song," but no.
New Jersey's greatest son. And these sons of bitches pull out the Jonathan Bon Jovi. And listen, no disrespect to Jonathan Bon Jovi. I believe he's a great man. He has like a whole restaurant where they just feed homeless folk.
Yeah,
Great guy. But living on a prayer ain't no born to run.
but it's on in every bar, like, it's
Yeah, it's the worst part of every bar.
no, I
The
love Living on
worst part of the bar. I hate fucking living on a prayer and don't stop believing. All those these are caucasity songs. I don't subscribe to this level
Sweet
of
Caroline?
caucasity.
You don't like
Sweet
Sweet
Caroline
you
is
don't like
definitely on there. We don't get that as much here over here, but like
No, you
in
wouldn't,
general,
no.
the Sweet Caroline, yeah, Sweet Caroline is on that list as well. It's right there in that caucastic level. Yes.
Well, I truly enjoyed it that they played it.
Shout out.
I am a Bon Jovi fan. My mom is from Northeast Pennsylvania, so very close to the Jersey, New York City area, and when she was a young girl, she used to hang out in the bars in Jersey with her friends, and she used to hang out with John Bon Jovi before he got really famous, before he, like, became, before Living on the Prayer and all that stuff.
You
So my
ever
mom
like
used
hook
to
up or
hang out
anything?
with she has stories about Bon Jovi, so it's
Like
always
what kind of
fun.
stories?
Not bad behavior stories, just like,
Like
being, like,
your mom
drunk
hooked up
and
with John
hanging
Bon
out with not
Jovi's.
her, but,
That's
like, yeah,
sick. Yeah. Okay.
she
The
did not hang
friends.
out. She did not she did not hook up with him. She already had a husband at 18, so she did
It's
not
good. Good
not
to
my
clear that
dad.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a
There's a
husband
lot
at
of
18.
rumors out there. Yeah.
Not my dad, someone else. My dad was her second marriage. But yes, essentially, she used to
My
hang out
mom
in
was
bars
also
with
married
his
to a
friends.
random man before my father as well, so we have that in common, Amanda.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad we do.
was your mom's first husband a cocaine dealer as well?
No, but he did ride a motorcycle, but he sadly passed away before I was
Rest in
born.
peace.
So, yes. Yes. He was,
All right.
her first love. Anyways, not that we're gonna get into my mom's loves
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I was like, I don't know where we go from
life.
here, Amanda. Please
Alright,
segue
let's
us,
see. Okay,
please.
before yeah, so now that we've talked about Michael romance and my mom's love life, let's dive into
Amanda,
another
real
piece
quick,
of
before we
story.
dive into that, let me just say
Yes,
my favorite part of the week
yes,
is this couple days here where we do these episodes. So these episodes come out for people Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But my favorite days of the week are Monday, Tuesday, where we basically spend 2.5 hours. We're like one of the days, it's like we're hanging out with this other people, so we're just kind of fucking around, and then it becomes just us, and it's like LMAO, like the grown-ups are out of the room, like we can have
yes,
fun again. It's just like my favorite time of the week, maybe in general, is just like Monday after we do our band interview and we're just us hanging out. And it's kind of like we'll do the interview and we're both kind of like trying to be composed, respectful
and
adults. And then it's just the
yes.
two of us just being like, LOL, like, what's going on, bro? Like, I miss you. Like, you're busy all weekend. What's up, dog? It's like one of my favorite people. One of my favorite people. Maybe my favorite person in the whole world, as in general. And let me just
You're
say,
one of my favorite people in the whole world.
you are legitimately no, like
You make me
I
laugh.
will I will throw people off of balconies for you, Amanda.
I appreciate that.
Let me just say,
I'll
we
give you
got
a list.
our real, yeah, I will fucking go through that list for you. I got you, dog. Our Our magic isn't just here on podcasts. I feel like our real magic also is on our ability to make short form videos, like our
I
TikTok
see.
earlier. Like, let me just toot my own horn. Like, I've said it before. I said to you personally, where it's like my whole life I've had to be the weird guy. But sometimes with videos with you, we do stuff. It's like I can be the straight man, this and that. It's
Yeah.
like Amanda can be fucking weird or this and that. It's just like, okay, you can like Amanda's like, hey, there's a so far so fake trend. And I'm like, she's like, do you have any ideas? And I'm like, yeah, why don't we do a weird thing where like you're kind of like, like bossing me around and I'm the stripper and you're kind of like, come on, baby, you go do, why don't you go make
We'll
this
make them
video, and why don't you make me that money, And it's just kind
finally
of
I
like,
get
she's like, all right,
lobsters of dollars.
yeah, right. It's just like, oh, she said, it's like, all right, I can do that. And it's like, you could have gone either way or this, then it's just like, I just, I've had it from bands to podcasts to life to this or that. It's like, you're my favorite partner in any sort of professional sense I've ever had. You are my fucking dog. You are yeah,
Appreciate that.
we're Lennon's McCartney's. We're
We're
Pete's and Pat's
Pete
here.
and
We're
Patrick.
Pete and
Yeah, we're
Pat.
Pete
Pete
and
and Pat.
Patrick.
We're
Yes.
Magic Pete and Pat.
Yes. I will say that I do have a draft of me actually doing that trend, but I don't know if I will ever post it,
You
but
go
it is
drop
a
the
draft.
Jazzy style. You're gonna get them
Yeah.
fucking views. Drop it on. If you're gonna do it, Amanda, do it on our page. Just like get the clicks onto our page,
Yes.
please,
Yes. I'll drop it.
please.
If yeah, if y'all want it, I'll drop it
Yeah. If we get enough likes,
on
someone on here
on the
commented.
Emo
We
Kids
got
and
we got that weird comment that one time where that guy was like, "Yo, that girl like fine as hell." Like he was talking
yeah,
about you. Like yeah. Respectfully of the weirdos in the comments, like he was honestly being rather courtmanshipy of
he
you. Yeah,
was.
like
Yes.
he was respectfully. Yeah.
But there is a draft
Yeah.
sitting out there
There's
that
a
may see the
draft,
light
yeah.
of day.
Y'all, it might be on the Never Phase Network Patreon. It might be on our OnlyFans. Yeah. Might come out on the on our TikTok. Smash that like button. Let's get some
And then maybe
engagement
you'll have it.
going.
There we go.
Yeah.
And without further ado, I think we should dive into the episode and talk a little bit about music that's not emo that a lot of people mistake as emo.
Yes.
Yes, I see it all the time because, there are certain TikTok creators I see who love doing those. Do you
Clowns.
recognize these?
Clowns.
Yes. And I'm like,
These are truly bad people.
I don't
Truly
think you
bad people.
listen to this music.
Deplorables.
And it's like all the most popular stuff, but they have like, do you recognize this emo band or do you recognize this song? And they throw in songs by bands that are
Fucking,
definitely
oh yeah,
not
they'll slip
emo.
an Ocean Avenue. In the end, miss you. Fucking fat lip.
Yeah,
The
obviously not
reason
emo.
by Hooba stank.
Also not emo. Yeah. So they put all this
Scars by
stuff in
Pop
there.
Roach. If you're doing this, I believe you should be exiled to a different hemisphere. You should be sent to a different planet. You are
Ethical
intern.
gatekeeping.
You are across the board one of the worst people on the earth.
And that is the opinion of Rob, Laffoon,
Yeah, yeah.
everyone.
These opinions do not reflect my employer, let me just say. Personally, off the record, if you're doing this, you're basically Al Qaeda to me. But yeah. In general, if you're
But if but if you're doing this, there's a lot of good reason for this. during the scene when it was happening, there's a lot of music coming out, especially in the 2000s, and with everything being on MTV or everything being on VH1 or on Fuse, etc., it's very easy for Rob. It's very easy to start to see all this stuff blend together. I would even say that my younger self maybe would have somehow related Evanescence to the rest of the scene I was listening to because before I really understood the difference of the music, I'm like, well, isn't this as hard as, say, Thrice or Story of the Year or something like that? But when you start to look back on hindsight, you realize it's not really the case, right? I
The
know we've
difference.
talked yeah, there's a difference. Like, we've talked about gateway to music like this. We talked about Linkin Park, but Linkin Park's not emo, right? We know it's new metal. It has a lot of the core new metal
Yeah,
elements.
yeah,
It
that
doesn't
is new metal. New metal. Let me get Trump on you for a second. New metal is I hate my dad music.
so is like
Emo,
post-grunge,
third
right?
wave emo, maybe at best, might be I hate my girlfriend or the girls in my class or the underclassmen 3 or 4 years below me. That might be third wave emo. But like Linkin Park at its root, Linkin Park Hybrid Theory comes out, I believe 2001, right?
Yes.
2001. So basically the same time frame that like a chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water comes out.
Yep.
Like I believe that same time frame where it's like new metal is deep, but like Linkin Park kind of. And again, I'm not a huge Linkin Park guy, but societally, culturally, and like Linkin Park is obviously like one of those statistically, numerically as well, like in the last 25 years, that is one of the 10 biggest bands of this millennium. There's no denying it. Like numbers wise, Hybrid Theory might be, again, like it's a weird thing where like CDs stopped being a big deal, the music industry changed, but like Hybrid Theory did like fucking 7 times platinum that
Yes.
first year it came out. I remember like, I don't remember if it's '01 or '02 VMAs, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. introduces them. I want to say it's 2000 2001 or 2002. I want to say
Yes.
2002 because I think it's 2001 he dies, like late 2000 actually, because it might be late
Yeah.
2000, but like it might be 2001. It might be 2001 where but either way, where it's like
Yeah.
they had already got platinum. Like that Lincoln Park was so big. Like you would have been in high school, I would have been junior high, where it's just like this band. I mean, a couple years later, they did the record with the mashup album with Jay-Z. Like
Oh, yeah.
Lincoln Park might be culturally the last band at that level where in terms of like just across the board, everyone knew Linkin Park, you know?
Yep. Exactly. So and it's very
But
easy to
but they're
like
let's
throw
just
them
be
in
clear,
our
they are
world.
not in no world, they are not in our world. They are adjacent to our world. This Broad came on our show one time and one time put them on the top four Mount Rushmore of emo or a Mount Rushmore of Warped Tour
Warped
bands.
Tour bands because
Yeah,
they played
Warped Tour
Warp one
bands.
year
Yeah,
later in
yeah,
their career, yes.
yeah. That was not good behavior on your part. Drew, I don't agree, but interesting take. But like, they were not. If you call Linkin Park an emo band, again, does any of this matter? No, but like intrinsically at the root of it, you are wrong.
No,
These
they're
words need to
definitely
exist for a
not.
reason.
Exactly. And I see why, and we're gonna talk about this with some of the other bands too, that a lot of people now in hindsight, like later on, like when, everything's written by historians after the fact, right? Not as it's coming out. Now it's like people are looking at it and writing articles about this stuff, putting, like I said,
Are
there's
we
like
the
a
new
ranker.
historians?
We are the new historians.
Fuck
There's a
yeah, so
there's
fucking sick, Amanda.
there's a ranker of top emo bands, and that's like people put these
Can we
bands on
go
a list,
through
and
it?
people can
Yeah,
upvote them. Yes, people can upvote them and
give me
um
this list. Just let me
downvote them, and
fucking.
it's the 100 plus best emo bands. Obviously, the first like couple, MCR, Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy,
Panic at
all
the
those.
Discos.
I
Okay,
mean,
keep going, keep going, keep going.
yes,
Okay, okay. Don't
we
worry about it.
all
Don't worry
know we
about
can
it. We're
make the
okay. We're
argument
okay.
they were part of like what emo, the culture of emo, but not necessarily
Third wave
musically
emo. They're
emo.
part of third wave emo culture as well.
Yes.
Okay, two great records, and then they
And then you
became
get
fucking
Sleeping
Maroon
with.
Five. Okay, Sleeping
Yes,
with the
exactly, yes.
Sirens,
Yep,
Kelly
Sleeping with the
Quinn,
Sirens is number
Kelly Quinn's.
4, yeah, which I was shocked. Yes, I was shocked that
Get
they
the
end up on number 4, but
fuck
then
out of here.
All
All
Time
time
Low
low.
again,
You remember when that Giacomo
pop
told me in
punk,
our
pop
comment
rock.
section one time because of their hair? They're like, look at their
They were
hair.
emo, yes.
Everybody, Adam Levine had that hair. We all had that hair in
Well,
2006 to 2010. All the white men,
I was gonna
the
say
every
Adam
cultured
from
men.
3 Days Grace had that hair, which I think is why a lot of
3
people
Days
think 3
Grace.
Days Grace is a emo band, right? Because they think, well, Adam, the lead
You
singer,
can give me a
looks the
fucking
part.
aneurysm today, Amanda. 3 Days
I'm
Grace is,
sorry.
let me just say, as a Canadian, shout out the I fucking hate everything about you song band. 3 Days Grace is WWE video game shit music. They're a great gateway band. If you were 12 years old in the years 2003 to 2007, I'm sure they're
Sure.
special to you. What's the singer's name? Adam Gaultier. I only know the
Yeah,
guy's name
Guntier, yeah.
because our friend Drew came on the show, and our great friend Drew, shout out Drew, one of the best guys I've ever fucking had on this show. One of the nicest guys, of course, consensusly. Drew is like, yeah, 3 Days Grace, 3 Days Grace, 3 Days Grace. I'm just like, bro, I forgot people gave a fuck about 3 Days Grace because in Canada, I hate everything about you blows up, and then a couple years later, it's like they all of a sudden became like a fuse band with like the animal
They
inside of
did.
me. What was that one? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
Riot was a good one,
Pain,
like Riot, Pain,
pain,
oh, Without Love,
pain.
Pain.
Yeah, pain. Yeah, that is. I hate my dad music to its core. In our
It is.
culture, pop punk emo is not hated dad music. Pop punk emo is I hate my hometown. I hate the girls in my class and the girls up to 3 years younger than my class. But it is not I hate my dad music. And 3 Days Grace, also with Evanescence, this music might also be I hate my church music. Because you kids all grew up going to fucking church in our era, especially late 90s to late 2000s. The Jesus people ran a hell of a PR campaign. Hell of a
Yeah,
PR
they
campaign.
were really
You'd
up
see,
on it.
right, entire stores in the malls just dedicated to like not of this world. We're selling you fucking just Jesus freak bullshit. And those bands were all susceptible to that. So people like if you grew up like going to youth, if you were a youth group kid, you'd have no choice but to kind of be part of that world, not even in a bad way, just that's what you're introduced to in the same way, like, oh, I might have heard Blink, like they were listening to fucking Skillet. You're listening to a band named after a Skillet. Take a step back and think
Yeah,
about it for a
Skillet's
second,
also on
brother.
this list, by the way,
Are they
which I
on the
was shocked
list?
by. Yeah, I was like,
When I was supposed to be doing research earlier, I was eating pizza and pineapple and drinking Chardonnay and Mountain Dew. I was gonna do some research, but I was like, I'm gonna eat this pepperoni pizza and the pineapple instead. I went to the Amazon grocery store. Shout out Jeff Bezos. He's a big fan of our
nice.
podcast. Okay.
Yes, he is. Big
Yeah.
fan. No,
Big
yeah,
fan, yeah.
but people like Skillet, Evanescence, Falling in Reverse is on here, which we talk about Ronnie Radke all the
Shouty
time.
Ronald Rathke, fan of our show, by the way. Let me just point out,
Yes, he
let's
is.
flex it for a second. He follows this pod on TikTok. So, like, is
Insanity.
Ronnie Radke, is Ronald Rathke, are you listening to this? Are you a fan of us, Ronald Rathke? Do you like this
Yes or
show? Is
no?
it me? Is it Amanda? Is it the content? I DM'd you already. I invited you onto the show.
We
I
have not
regret
heard back.
inviting you on because I asked my friend Willow, shout out Willow, sweet trans charger friend Willow, and she told me, she's like, I'd be bummed if you had Ronnie Radke on just because like I do believe he's a dipshit.
Yes.
And I respect Willow's opinion a lot. But she was like, again, you just be ready for the smoke if you have him on. So Ronnie, I'm willing to risk getting in a fight with my friend Willow. Why haven't you DM'd us back? You fucking dipshit.
Well, there goes that clip. Can't wait to put it out there. But yes,
Sorry,
Falling in Reverse
Amanda.
is on the ranker list, as are bands you'd expect. Good Charlotte, Simple Plan, Yellow Card, The
Lord.
Killers, which I
The
think
Killers.
if Brandon Flowers was dead and
Brandon
gone, he would
Flowers,
roll over in his
20 years
grave.
ago. Lord, he'd be, yeah.
If he saw himself on an emo band's 100 like emo bands list, yeah, if he had passed away and he was in his grave, he'd be rolling, being called
Roll it
an emo
around.
band.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that when people look at 2000s alt rock music, they start to lump it all together with a few
Is it
outliers, obviously.
aesthetically or more musically? Because it's like aesthetically. I mean, you're mentioning the Killers. You mentioned these bands. Was it literally a thing of like, if you weren't butt rock or like country, if you like, or
Yes.
like obviously,
Like if you weren't
obviously indie,
Nickelback,
like
Creed,
if you weren't Nickelback, Creed, or like the Strokes was clearly. I feel like the Strokes doesn't get mixed. I've never heard the Strokes mixed into our
no,
world. Like, The
No.
Strokes was a clear thing, but the Killers, maybe because of the eyeliner, was it? I don't know, because by Sam's
Yeah, and
Town,
I
they're clearly
I think
Springsteen.
yes, I think it's the eyeliner, and I think a lot of the, Hot Fuss album, I think that one in particular, some of the lyrics, I think, lend
Jenny was a friend of
themselves.
mine, by the way. Just shout out, great track.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks. I think
I
some of the
wish we could. I
lyricism
wish
lends itself
as
to
emo
emo a little
people, I
bit.
wish we could. I wish we could claim those first two Killer records as part of our culture, but we can't. I wish we could. Yeah, I would trade you the
A lot of
Panic
people do, though. I
record.
mean, there's a reason why they play Mr. Brightside at emo nights because a lot of people, they know
The
that
emo nights people are bullshit cultural appropriators. Mr. Brightside, as although it's one of the greatest songs,
they
it's
also play
truly
Good
our.
Charlotte too, so
We need to do our own emo nights. One of my
we
goals
do.
for this, Amanda, a year from now, I would love for us to have Emo Kids Anonymous, NapNet, whatever it is, to be throwing our own parties because, like,
That'd be
emo nights, if you're
fantastic.
listening to this, I think you run a bullshit operation. I
Hot
think
takes
this
from Rob
mass
tonight.
I think this mass appeal garbage you do, where it's you lump in like uh, uh, an Avril Lavigne with a Linkin Park with a just general 2000s nostalgia shit, like emo and pop punk and anything in our Warp Tour world or Fuse TV world was its own thing. And they weren't as intrinsically linked as these people think they are. There
No, they
wasn't
really
there was
weren't.
very much a time where I was in high school from 2003 to 2007. If you would have went up to someone who was very into Linkin Park, they would have told you like, no, I like Linkin Park. I like metal. I can enjoy Queens of the Stone Age or the Strokes. I do not enjoy Panic at the Disco or Fall Out Boy or Yellow Card or Good Charlotte or The Used or any of these bands that we ride or die for. There was a clear line in the sand between us at the time, at the
There was.
time. And to me, it's like, again, it doesn't matter. Like, again, I was not bullied that hard, but like in general, it's like we talk about, it's like we were bullied for this type of music. It was not the same as the Killers or fucking Hot Heat or any of this stuff that was radio or indie or video game
Yes.
soundtrack music. Yes, the Good Charlotte or whatever, AFI had a couple songs on video games, but for the most part, like our scene
Breaking
was a.
Benjamin made some big money with that Halo
Yeah.
song.
Yes. Yeah, which by the way, hey, shout out Halo CEI, shout out Emway, recent guest, will be on the
That's
pod
right.
again very soon. Yeah. Shout out to the Gooners and fucking excuse me, who are you? There's a level of like, it's almost to me, it's disrespectful because at the time we were so disregarded as a genre, to now be lumped in with Linkin Park, who at the time were MTV fused. Like I remember Breaking the
Yeah.
Habit video comes out. You couldn't get the fuck away from that.
And that's what and it's funny because, like, I think about bands like Linkin Park, like, in Breaking Benjamin too, like, yeah, Phobia, which I think is probably, I would argue, their best album, a
For
lot of it
who?
about Breaking Benjamin's album
I've
Phobia,
never
which
heard
is
one Breaking Benjamin album. They have full albums?
yes, they do, several, uh-huh,
Gotta
I
be
have heard
dog
of 'em.
shit, huh? Are they good? What are you giving the
I saw
Phobia
them.
album out of 10?
Oh, I do love the Phobia album. I would give that,
Give it a
like,
rating out of 10.
I would give it, like, an 8 out of 10. I like the Phobia
8
album.
out of
I saw
10?
them live. I've seen them in concert. I've seen them in concert with
Fucking
Flyleaf and
Christ.
3 Days Grace. I
Oh,
can't
I
help
leave
it.
in 3 days grace? What year was this, Amanda? I wouldn't you would have to
10.
waterboard me to get this information out of me.
10. 2010, yeah, 2010. Look,
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy was on hiatus. What the
Yeah,
hell was
you
I
could
gonna
not
do?
have waterboarded that shit out of me.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy's on hiatus. Everyone was like
What
and
was
these
I
guys were
doing in
still making
2010?
music.
I
I
was
don't
just
know.
doing mushrooms, yeah. Not
Mushrooms
good.
probably, yeah. I was trying to be I was, like, having my first job and being an adult. It was, like, not a
Yeah,
fun time.
I would have
Yeah.
been 20
I
years
was a
old.
year
Yeah, I
away
would
from
have been.
getting married. I was like, it was all thing. Anyways,
I
but
was
no,
true
Breaking
scumbag.
but with, like, Breaking
Stupid Girl.
Benjamin,
What's the Stupid Girl band? What's that one? Shout out
you
Stupid
were
Girl. The one where he's
stupid
just like,
girl the day that you
Stupid
met
Girl.
me.
No, no, that's Sour Girl. That's
That's Sour
Stone Temple
Girl. The
Pilots.
Stone Temple
That's Stone
Pilots.
Temple Pilots, who, yeah, great
Okay.
friends of mine.
Are they?
No, Colt. Oh, yeah, Stone Temple Pilots. Doug Grion, who produced. We just talked about Scott Weiland, I believe, in our last
Yeah,
interview.
we did, we did.
Scott Weiland's Lavish Studio, my band, The Wilding Hearts, we made our first single, our first EP, our first album at Lavish Studios, which was Scott Weiland's studios with Doug Grion, his personal engineer. Doug
Didn't have a
Grion
car
also did like,
yeah.
He also did like Soak Up the Sun by Sheryl Crow. He did like he worked a little on the Velvet Revolver records, but like Duran Duran, but like yes, shout out random two-time mention on the pod, Scott Weiland.
Wait, you're not talking about the Garbage song, are you?
Which one?
Stupid Girl.
No, I'm talking about it's like Cold or Crossfade or some of that
Crossfade,
bullshit.
probably. Well,
Crossfade, yeah,
Crossfade
some of
did
that.
the song Cold, so
What I
they're
really
all
meant to say is I'm
yeah,
sorry
Crossfade's
for the
Cold,
way
yes.
I am. I never meant to be so
For someone
cold.
who
That
that's
shit
butt rock.
sucks. Yeah, I
Yes,
fucking know. I was raised in butt rock. Okay, we recently interviewed a band, Old Neon. They were talking about drag. Let me tell you, I grew up in drag as well. But my drag I grew up in was drag racing. My stepdad was
makes sense.
he drag raced snowmobiles on asphalt. Like he rigged up a snowmobile to ride on like asphalt. So like that those people were very into like the colds, the crossfades, the Linkin Park.
That
So
makes
like
sense.
I
Yeah,
understand this culture. Airport tarmac people music.
yes, but there was no crossover, like, as far as, like,
No,
the
they
Venn
call this the
diagram
F word.
between, like,
They
a
call this the
yeah,
F
the
word.
Venn diagram between, like, a Breaking Benjamin fan and a Fall Out Boy fan, or a Breaking Benjamin fan
Well,
and a
fuck no, didn't
Motion City
exist.
Sound. Yeah, it was
There's a
very slim.
mile between them. They
Yes.
literally they
I
call
mean,
this
it
the F
exists,
word.
but
Yeah.
it's tiny. Yeah, and it's very tiny, like a Three Doors Down, also butt rock.
Three doors down,
There's
yeah, y'all can go
but
fuck yourself too. That
because of
Superman song, get the
yes,
fuck out
but
of here.
because the
Yeah,
songs are like
garbage.
Breaking Bad, like that Phobia album really centered around Ben's like struggles with drinking and his struggle with
The
sobriety
guy
and
from
stuff.
Breaking Benjamin's name is Ben.
Yes.
Fuck
Yes.
out of here, really?
Yes. 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 Wait till you see my TikTok I'm gonna post later.
I didn't know
Anyway,
that.
yes, that he, you know, his one album was all about that album was about his struggle with sobriety and, drinking. You
So
can see it when
Benjamin
you listen
Breaking
to the music.
Benjamin is like some sort of internal thing about a guy named Benjamin who's
Yes.
like breaking through himself. It's a metaphor. You tell me
They
this this DVDUI music is based around like internal growth?
it is about internal struggles for sure. That
Right.
is the, emphasis there with
Holy
their
shit.
album, for example.
I didn't know none of this.
Yeah, so I think,
Shout
like,
out,
as go
I
ahead.
guess.
Shout
And I
out.
have nothing to say about Breaking Benjamin.
So I think as, you know, cultivated playlists and time moves on, these kind of things like bring even Three Days Grace with some of their songs, right? Like Pain or, you know, I Hate Everything About You. Some of those songs, while though
I only
that
know
is
the one,
definitely
yeah.
yeah,
If they weren't in the WWE PSP soundtracks, I
you
didn't
didn't.
know the 3 Days of
You didn't
Grace.
know the Three Days
If
Grace
you weren't
song.
the theme song for WWE Backlash 2007, 3 Days of Grace, I'm sorry I didn't hear you. Shine Down took a lot of your shine. They took over the
God.
WWE theme song, and, like, to me, those were bands in the same world. But that being said, let me tell you,
They are.
I'm in the 8th grade, 2003, spring 2003, I Hate Everything About You comes out. I cannot lie. I cannot lie to you, Amanda. That song in Canada was maybe next only one half step below Complicated by Avril in terms of,
Yeah.
like, the world, like, Canada, like, just level of like that was that big of a song. Like you could not I was springtime. I just got kicked out of my parents' house because I snuck out to go watch FM stat or no, I snuck out to go watch Hawk Nelson at the local
Gosh, Hot
which
Nelson.
Hawk Nelson at the local fucking the People's Church in Grand Prairie. I snuck out to go to the local pop punk Christian show. But like I remember being at my grandparents' house and like the I Hate Everything About You video comes out. It's around the same time as Girls Not Grey and Seven
Yep.
Nation Army. And like it's just this like eighth grade music to me where it's just like there's an angst to it where it's like I haven't heard I Hate Everything About You probably in 20 years. Like, even now as we're talking about, I have
Yep.
not heard it recently, but, like, when this ends, if I go put it on, later tonight, I do a little MMM, a little Midnight Music Mania where I watch some YouTube music videos, like, I Hate Everything About You is gonna pop off. So, the last
But
10
yeah,
minutes where I'm shitting on 3 Days of Grace, like, that one song does rip.
it yes. They have a couple of bangers. It's, but I think the music itself, because it has that angsty feel and people when you hear emo, they just associate automatically with emotions. And you had a TikTok where you talked about, well, lots of music have emotion in it, but the fact that it's emotional music that's coupled with some like punk post-hardcore elements. And now I would argue that 3 Days Grace Breaking Benjamin more hardcore post-grunge than it is punk, which, a lot of our emo bands have more of the punk elements in them and a little bit of hardcore, but that's kind of all, the different elements that go with their music. So I think that's why a lot of these like articles and a lot of these like novice people who aren't really like weren't in the scenes at the time, but knew the
Links it up,
music
yeah.
and start linking it all together because they're like, well, it's emotional. Like Evanescence. Yeah. Like My
The
Immortal.
Evanescence one
It's
never made sense to
immortal.
me because to me, like Evanescence, it's like what they had one sad
I thought they
song.
were metal. I thought they were always to
It
me
was
another
metal
version of new
adjacent. It
metal.
was metal. It
Yeah.
was metal adjacent at best. Yeah.
Exactly. I always thought that was metal adjacent. So then when I would see like them show up on like emo like song lists that people would do on TikTok, I get confused. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I thought they were like same with Linkin Park. It never made sense to me because that metal like adjacent, that's very distinct from
I really,
emo sounds.
I specifically started. I've said it before. I believe. I specifically started making. I was making content, this or that. I specifically started very much diving into our world because I took such great offense to seeing this shit where it'd be like, "Do you recognize these 10 pop punk
Oh,
emo anthems?"
I
And
know.
it's like Ocean Avenue, all the small things, Sugar, Panic, the Sins Not Tragedies, and then it's like, I Hate Everything About You, Dear Maria,
Yeah.
The Reason by or The Reason by Hoobastanks,
Hoobastank.
or something like that, where it's like, it's just these shit where it's like, I don't understand. Sorry, I'm trying to get like a real good fringe going here while we're talking, you know?
You're making a concerted effort there, Rob. It's doing good.
Yeah, I was trying to just get like a real good.
Yeah. And sometimes that also I believe also plays into people created those sounds because they knew what would be trending,
What's the
and
thing too? There were
they're
certain
gonna go with the
words where
popular stuff.
it
Yeah.
became a thing where like emo was just a certain word used. And like at one point it felt like a slur, but then
Yeah,
it
it
became
did.
normalized where it's like, oh, we're emo, this or that. And it's like, oh, like the checkered, like even like the checkered bands thing where it's like, oh, I'm an elder emo. I like the checkered bands. It's like, well, the checkered bands we're doing two-tone. Like if we're being culturally
Yeah, it's kinda
respectful, that is ska music, baby. Shout out to the mailman. Like that is his people.
Yep,
Sorry, I just poured a
exactly.
bunch of fucking, yeah, smart
And
water
poor
on my
ska,
face.
they get shit
Yeah,
on way more
like,
than
they get
emo
shit on all the
music
time, they
does.
get shit on more than we do, and it's like, that is their culture, we just, like, kind of the shoes kind of popped off in, like, '06, '07, and it just kinda hung for a few years, and we've stuck with it, like, that is not necessarily emo, like, these are pop punk. This whole idea thing came popped up because, like, I saw this episode, or I saw this episode. I saw this fucking 8-second TikTok of this guy being like, "Who else misses emo music, or who else listened to emo music or whatever?" But it was like, it was Simple Plan Perfect, and it was
Yeah.
like, that is not emo music.
It's a
That
sad
is not. That
song,
is.
it's
It's a sad song,
introspective,
sure, sure.
but
But
it's not emo music.
if we're like, genres are more than just their lyrics. Like if
They
we're
are.
just going lyrically, then
Music
like
too.
every artist on the fucking planet is an emo artist. Emo, short for emotional. What emo is really short for is emotional hardcore. And like, we don't need to pull out the copy pasta Reddit shit here, but realistically, like, emo has roots in like hardcore, punk rock. It is a certain type of emotional hardcore. But like, it became this thing where like 2007 onward, where it's like, if you are emotional music, it's like, oh, that's kind of emo. Even same thing. Shout out Ryan. Shout out the Twimo guy, where it's like Taylor Swift legitimately low, like legitimately does have emo ties. Like I believe she's emo adjacent. She grew up very hard on
Yes,
Fall Out
because of her
Boy. We got a
influences,
starting
yeah.
line references, influences wise, but it like, the lyrics alone do not make her emo. Like if that makes her emo, then Jewel is emo, then Fleetwood Mac is emo, then Elvis Presley would be pop punk, is Elvis Presley would be Warped Tour as fuck, on account of the
Yes.
fucking hanging out with 14-year-old girls.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Amanda, we're
I mean,
getting.
no, like, yeah, you're talking about, like, R&B artists would all be,
Yeah,
like,
R.
emo.
Kelly.
Neo
I
for
was
crying
literally
out
gonna say,
loud.
okay, R. Kelly's a fucking pop punk artist. Then I was thinking, I'm like, well, honestly,
Well,
R. Kelly is probably pop punk as fuck. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
that man fits in a lot more with these Warped Tour, yeah, R. Kelly, Dixie Lacey, y'all could there was still. But it's like there's this level of like, oh, it's a lyrical thing. Like I had someone comment on my thing. He was like, "Simple Plan is emo because punk rock was rooted in like
emotional
bands talked
hardcore,
about punk rock was like bands talked about like politics and society, and then bands started talking about like relationships and stuff like that. That's emo, and it's like okay, then like the Ramones are emo. The Ramones are not talking about politics really. The Bad Religion, 80% of the songs are political. But okay, Rancid's
Guns N'
emo.
Roses
No
could
offense
be
to
emo
Guns N'
then.
Roses emo. Corey Emos is emo. Taylor Swift's emo. Fucking The Offspring's emo. Like what? Everything is emo then, brother. Like
Salt
that's
and
the
Peppa is
dumbest thing I've
emo
ever
because
heard.
they're talking about
Yes,
relationships.
musical genres honestly are not defined. Honestly, the last thing they're defined by to me is lyrical content. As fans, especially as like non-musician fans or casual fans, the main thing that draws you is the lyrics, which again, next week our episode is going to be on like band members and band members leaving and like the different dynamics of bands. And one of the main things with bands, like for example, Linkin Park, who we've mentioned in this episode a lot, Chester, rest in peace. Chester passes away. He gets replaced with the Scientologist
Emily,
lady,
yeah.
and like, the Scientology, and she, shouted Elron, and I didn't mean, we don't have to do a shout Elron. We can cut that out,
Okay.
but like, there's like a level of like when certain members of the band, like if that was the bass player, it'd be no big deal, but if it was the drummer, it'd be no big deal, But vocally, things are tied in certain ways.
Yes.
That's this genre, that's that genre.
Yeah,
There's a lot
and it
of
starts to play
yeah,
yeah.
but there's like if you're tying it to lyrical content, like it's just that's not what genres are. That's not what genres are like the musical side of it. You know what I mean? The difference between
Yes.
punk and pop punk and metal music and country music and hip hop is not lyrical content. The lyrical content in that shit varies like
And
10%.
it can all
Whereas
be very
yeah,
similar too. Like, I
yeah,
mean, the best example I can think of is when in because I always bring everything back to Fall Out Boy, but in 2013,
shout out Fall
they
Boy, yeah,
they did
save rock and roll,
a Crossroads episode on CMT with the band
yeah.
Perry. And the
Shout out
band
to Dan
Perry
Perry.
yeah, when you
They're
listen
done.
to
Rest
their
in peace. Yeah,
songs, um, there are some emotional, like, there's some darkness to some of their stuff, like, If I Die Young, like, that there's a Better
yeah,
Dig
I mean,
too.
yeah,
There's stuff
there's probably people out there
that
that
you can,
legitimately
like
believe band Perry. They're like, "Oh, if I die young, that's emo." It's like, brother,
they're country artists. This is
yeah, okay.
like
Then I
yeah.
killed a man in Reno just to watch him die is like fucking gangster rap?
Exactly, like, it was interesting to see them do that with them because, like, when you think of, like, Better Dig 2 and stuff, I think about some of the Pete's lyrics from Fall Out Boy, and I'm like, there's no difference in the lyrics, but that's how they are put together and composed that make them different genres at the end of the day. Now, there might be some, let's say, more introspection in emo lyrics, looking a
Yes,
little bit more inward, like, mostly soundtrack and things like that. There might be some more introspection than other people, but then later on you get like people like Taylor Swift who take that in themselves and they use it for their own music and they take those inspirations and now they're using it for pop music instead of just purely emo music. But at the end of the day, it is about the music itself. And if you are, I could see if you are someone who is not hip to the different musical stylings of the scenes and the different genres. You could see like a lot of things have the hardcore elements. I can see where they might blend for someone who just listens to the hits and listens to the radio. They might see a like story of the year sounds just like a 3 Days Grace or Breaking Benjamin because there are differences, but to the average person, not enough. And that's where these like rankings and things come in. And I'm just like, you're not listening to this music as
that's why we
often as
gotta have better
some of the rest of
gatekeeping.
us.
Like you can listen to whatever you want, but like in terms of
Don't call it
critical
emo.
level of things, I will gladly be the gatekeeper here. Where it's like and let me just say, I'm just learning from my guy Scott's Records, by the way. Shout out Scott's Records. Like my
He is the ultimate gatekeeper, yes.
yeah, in the best way. Yeah, respect. Like where it's like their words need to mean something. Cause like let me take you back in time, Amanda. Remember when we were younger and we wanted to
Yes,
listen to a record? We had to go
yes.
to a store. You remember you'd go to a store and you'd buy the record and you'd pay anywhere from 9.99 to 19.99 to buy this fucking record that was 10 to
Ugh,
15 songs.
And if it's
Whereas
deluxe,
now
$25.
whereas now you can go listen to whatever the hell you want, but back then, you had to go pay for it. So, like, if you wanted to go, like, those same if you in your day today, if we didn't have this show, if you didn't have work, if you didn't have this, you can go enjoy 5 records in a day or whatever. If you just had a
Yeah,
free day, you can go enjoy 5 records. In back in our day, that's nearly $100 worth of music. That music now costs you 9.99 or twelve
a
ninety
month.
nine or whatever
Yeah,
Spotify AI or Apple Music, whatever the fuck any of these things cost. Like it costs you 11. It costs you the price of one album is the price of what you get for all month. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain level of like depreciation with these things.
yeah, I think so as
Where
well.
there's no way you can connect to it in the same way, but at the same sense, you're not like when we had labels like or genres that kind of like the genres meant a little more to us because like you had to kind of know what you were getting into. You couldn't just dive into it. You couldn't go listen to 5 songs by an artist for free. The
No.
genres were very important because it kind of gave you at least an idea to some degree of what to listen to. Does that make
And
you know what I
then
mean?
if you like that, then you might like this
Yes, things like that,
because
like
you
FFO or
wanna
something like that, or be
yeah,
like, "For
you wanna
fans
have a
of it,"
good
like,
if you're gonna
"Recommend if
spend
you
your money
like."
on a new record, you wanna make sure it's somewhat along the lines of what you like, and we all have different we all of our tastes vary, like, for every emo song or every emo album I love, I equally enjoy a pop record or hip hop, R&B, right, and even indulge in a little butt rock every now and then.
What's your butt rock anthem?
Probably "How
We're
You
gonna
Remind
hear your
Me" by
voice. Oh,
Nickelback.
How You Remind Me by the greatest Canadians of all time, Nickelback? Yeah. You
Yes,
talking
and
about
if
the
I'm running
greatest selling rock and roll song of the 21st
yes, and
century
if I'm
by
running, it's
Hannah
"Burn It to the
Alberta's
Ground."
Finest?
Yes, and if
Yeah.
it's running, it's "Burn It to the Ground." Look, I can appreciate butt rock with the next stuff because at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
I was gonna
let's
say, you got
face
that
it,
Kentucky in you, yeah.
I do. Well, middle of America, Pennsylvania really is more accurate.
I've never even been to the middle part of America for more than an hour, so I don't
I
know.
have
I've
been.
never really lived
I've
for
been to
more than an hour, yeah.
Kansas. Oh, you haven't?
No.
Neither has Pete Wentz.
Yeah.
Patrick stuff, I remember they wrote that together, so it could be either one
I'm
of their
happy
lyrics.
you caught that immediately. Of course you
Well, of
did.
course I did. But there's one thing we can agree on when it comes to all of this music. At the end of the day, all of it will eventually be put into a playlist on Spotify titled Dad Rock because it's all going to be
Yeah.
listened to about guys who have gotten divorced at least once.
I got
Or,
literal kids, and the only reason I don't have divorces is because I couldn't afford the marriages in the first place, brother. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So yeah, like this is the new dad rock, okay?
yeah.
Am
I
I
mean, look,
more than you bargained for yet?
are you? Are you my
I
dirty little secret? Because yes,
yeah. Yeah.
there we
Well,
go.
I've never
Another
done
band that doesn't
mistress stuff.
belong in
Yeah,
emo
that's yeah,
music.
like well, let's not link. But same thing. I hate this over cultural appropriation of the term emo in general. Like pop
Yes,
punk. I liked it when we were younger. Everything would just get called punk or pop punk, and then at some point
it's true.
emo took over where it's like I would rather we were having arguments about punk or pop punk because to me those things kind of like that's a more wide open argument where it's like there's more
Well,
room
for
for
sure.
debate. You know what I
There
mean? It's like
is.
is Blink punk rock? There's part of Blink that's punk rock, but also part of Blink that's not punk rock at all. You know what I mean? They're full
No.
on pop punk this or that. But there's a
Yep.
punk element or this or that where it's like you can argue. Even the Ramones, you could argue like, okay, the greatest punk rock band in American history, they're kind of pop punk. Bad Religion, punk rock as fuck. I don't know. They got the 3 chord or the 3 part harmonies the Beach
Yeah.
Boys here. Like they're poppy as hell. Like they have great, this or that. It's pop music. But like whereas with like the pop punk emo thing, it's just like it's so much more cut and dry to me where it feels like it comes across gatekeepery because it very quickly becomes like a thing where it's like I personally, and again, I'm probably the asshole here, where it's like, well, I feel this and you feel that, and I think you're wrong. Like, there's not as much room for debate on it. It's like if you think Simple
Yeah.
Plan, like the guy, if you think Simple Plan is an emo band, I'm sorry, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I
think all
mean?
you're doing is what these people are doing is equating, well, this came out at this time
This
when
time, or
this
that
term
was the
was
word.
big,
Okay,
and
okay.
so therefore it must fit into this
Then
story.
Weezer's a grunge band. It's the same kind of thing.
Yes, even
Weezer
though
comes out in
yeah.
'94, grunge is popping off. Buddy
So I guess
Holly.
they're Nirvana.
Yeah, I guess Buddy Holly is basically just fucking Mudhoney, brother. It doesn't add up to me, but it's like, and again, again, a lot of this is stuff where it's like, this is virgin talk. Like, this is stuff for like these debates are for people that are getting zero hoes, like zero dates, zero ladies, zero fellas,
Yes.
zero bros. But it's like I like they're conversations worth having still, you know what I mean? But it's like in
Yes.
general, are these things important? No. Like if I disagree with you on a genre or you disagree with me, like it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like even like Scott, from Scott's records will kind of be like, like, is this important? Like fucking obviously it's not. But at the same point, it's kind of like words have to mean something, bro. Like these
Yes.
like you I cannot let 3 days grace into this world. Like and it's no offense to 3 days grace, but it's like that is not because they wore eyeliner, bro. Fucking
And had the
Ryan
hair.
Cabrera
Had the
wore
hair.
eyeliner. Fucking
Yeah.
like the Miz, the wrestler wore eyeliner. Like, you know what I mean? Like Jeff Hardy wore eyeliner. Like everyone wore Wes Borland wore eyeliner as reasoning.
West Borland did wear
You,
eyeliner.
you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like all time low had emo haircuts. It was 2008. We all had emo haircuts.
Everyone
I
had
was on the
emo. By
football
that point, they
team.
knew that
Guys
was
on the
gonna be
offensive
like
linemen. Yeah, they knew they're gonna like that was the
technically
style.
like Justin Bieber and all them. Like they had
Bieber. I'm
the
sorry.
side swoop. Like
The
they
side
had the
swoop.
fringe.
I went in
They just
2010,
didn't dye it
2011.
black. They just didn't dye it
People
black.
didn't people didn't yell out the window at me, "Hey, JT, hey, Pete Wentz." When people would drive by me, they'd yell, "Hey, Justin Bieber." Like this
Yeah,
was a
because you didn't dye
Justin
your hair. You
Bieber
just had
haircut.
the cut.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a Justin Bieber hair at the time. Like,
Yes, it
brother,
was.
like let's yeah. And also
Jesse
by the way, shout
McCartney
out
hair.
Bieber.
Yeah, shut up,
Shout
Bieber.
out Bieber. McCartney, I'll give you a half shout out, but Bieber,
No,
you
no,
get a
shout out McCartney. He's
1.1.
coming
You give him
back.
full?
He
He's
played
coming
with
back.
the Jonas Brothers last night. It was
He
or
did, he
well,
did, he did. By
yes,
the way, let me just say real quick, while we're on this subject, Becca, are you listening to this, Becca?
she better be.
Becca, Becca, I saw her tweet. I think she deleted it, but she called Switchfoot a pop punk band. Switchfoot from San Diego. Respect as San Diegans, as fellow San Diegans.
I don't know if
Switchfoot,
I
not pop punk, Christian
no.
rock. Okay,
Christian
dare
rock.
you to move.
Dare you to
We
move
were
is so
meant to
Christian.
live. Go fuck yourself, okay? Get out of here, Switchfoot. You are not pop punk. You are not pop.
He was saying that to Switchfoot, not to Becca.
Yeah, I'm saying this is Switchfoot. No, Becca knows I love her. Becca's the homie. But like Switchfoot in general. And Switchfoot, again, I don't have anything against Switchfoot. Like Switchfoot, a great band. They're from San Diego. They
Yes,
did great numbers, a
has
good
great
band, but
music.
like this is Christian adjacent. This is just rock music from a certain era. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's
Like,
true.
but it's like it's not in our. This was not as big as like Meant to Live was in 2004. They were not pop punk or
They were
emo.
not pop punk.
This
No,
was like that was the best of the DC talk, Christcore,
it
pop
was.
rock, not of this
That
world
crossed over.
decal bumper sticker music. Yeah,
Yeah, the stuff that managed to cross over into the mainstream and move
yeah.
away from just being
By the
Christian
way, yeah, shout out
contemporary.
Becca, our homie Becca, obviously. Like, yeah,
Yes.
like no, that was not again. Yeah, Becca, we love you,
Yeah.
dog. But like, but
Yeah.
Switchfoot, we don't love you. I mean, I don't
No.
even dislike Switchfoot. Yeah, I might love you, Switchfoot. I'm just saying, like, you're not listening to this because you're not of
They know
this world. You know that.
yeah, they know that they're not
They
pop
know, they
punk.
know,
They
yeah.
know.
They
And that's
know, they
fine.
know.
And
But
the
that's the
same
thing where
with,
there's
like
just these common misconceptions where like this is again, none of this is important, but it's like it feels important to us because like
it's a
these were
double-edged sword.
subcultures at the time where it's yeah, it's like,
Yes.
okay, like I'm not gonna spend 20 minutes arguing with someone about Switchfoot being pop punk because like that's full on virgin shit. But it's like someone's gotta like we gotta defend it a little because at some point the plot's gonna be lost and 50 years from now we're just gonna see it one way, you know?
Exactly, and that's where it comes in with keeping the information alive, because we don't wanna just homogenize everything and all blah, this all means one thing, and it doesn't. There are differences that should be celebrated in regards to, like, what Linkin Park did for nu metal. That should be celebrated for
Yeah,
what they did
seven,
for
eight
nu
million.
metal. They
They
should be
I
lumped
believe that
into
album's gone
emo.
diamond by now. Yeah, they should
Yes,
not be
they
pinned in
shouldn't
with ours.
no, they
They're
should
the
not be pinned
greatest
in.
besides maybe Corn, maybe
Yeah,
Corn. They're the greatest new metal bands,
yeah,
or maybe even one of the greatest quote unquote hard rock bands
hard rock, just
of the
generalized.
entire 21st fucking century. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Lincoln Park is honestly Lincoln Park. all due respect, is beyond our genre. Like they are Linkin Park,
They
the
are.
impact they made is bigger than the impacts that maybe My Chem made at their peak, or even
But
a Blink.
even yeah.
Like they were big. They were so big. Like everyone knew. Like they're doing fucking a record with Jay Z.
Yeah, they were. They were doing a lot of great things, and even with My Chemical Romance, I know that Gerard Way hates the term emo because they feel like it diminishes
Yeah.
what they set out to do, and that's true. Maybe in the beginning, they had a lot of those emotional hardcore elements, but let's face it, by Black Parade, they are no longer an emo band
No,
anymore. They are
became a great
more
rock and
than
roll
that.
band.
They
Great
are
rock and roll
rockin'
band.
arena rock to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like, that's why
Hard
they are
rock.
killing it in
Yeah.
arenas and stadiums because their music was meant for that.
Emo
Like,
is emo is not like a big thing as musicians, as songwriters. When I went to fake music school as a thing, it's like write music for the room you want to play it in. If you want to play in a
yep.
stadium, you better write a fucking stadium song.
And Fall Out Boy
Emo
did the
at its
same
core
thing,
is
yeah.
written is sometimes, especially fourth, fifth wave, second wave, first wave emo is written like in the sense of like
For
you're
those
gonna be playing
halls,
this in a
those
basement, in a hall, in
mhm,
something like this, a sweaty room where everyone's singing
exactly.
along, and there's this beautiful sense of community, but it's not MetLife Stadium getting the key to your hometown, you
No.
know?
Yeah, and I think that's why, by not by it on twofold, by not by classifying everyone under one umbrella, you're diminishing the differences and not celebrating the really cool differences that exist within the genres, especially like between putting a new metal band with emo. New metal was a cool. They had its
It's
own
a different
thing. We need
thing.
to
It was a
celebrate
different
that.
thing.
Don't
It was a
throw
different
it in with
thing.
emo. Emo had its own thing too.
The
We
new
should
metal
celebrate
kids were
that.
bullying us, if anything, you know? I mean, like,
Again, like I said, they're the crossover between like a Breaking Benjamin fan and a Fall Out Boy fan, very slim, very like very
very
not very
slim.
consistent. They're you're not gonna see the same kind of like crowds at either one, or like same kind of crowd
No,
at like, Thrice versus Breaking Benjamin out. Like there's not gonna be a big
no,
crossover there.
no,
No, it's gonna be
no.
very different. Like
Not gonna be a lot of GEDs on the fucking, yeah, the CrossFit side, yeah.
not
Low
or Hinder.
education
Oh
level
god, I forgot
level.
about
Yeah, the
Hinder.
hinder, yeah.
Trapped. I saw
The
those people in concert too.
heroes
I've seen
say
my
my name, it sounds so
fair share of
sweet.
butt rock in
Yeah,
concert,
we don't get this
and
kind of butt rock out here. Yeah, the butt
yeah,
rock literally doesn't come to LA. They go to like
they come
Riverside or
here.
Inland
They come
Empire.
to us.
Yeah, they
They
go
come
to
to
where
us.
you live. Like I remember I posted this thing. I posted this thing
Arkansas.
like months before we started doing this show, like last October, November, where it was like, what's the biggest rock band of the last 30 years? And in my head, like we're going 94 onward. Like if you got big from 94. So like Green Day didn't count. Weezer didn't count, but like Foo Fighters, Blink. I said it was Blink, and people were like, "It's Shinedown. Shinedown has 17 or 19 number ones." And I googled, and it was like Shinedown does have 19 number ones on
You don't
rock
think about
radio,
it.
which basically means like rock radio has played your song the most. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that people bought it. It doesn't mean people bought your records. It doesn't mean your shit's good. I even looked it up. I was like, you can't be the biggest rock band and you've never played like
Yeah.
the Forum or Staples Center in LA. It's like the loud, like Shinedown, like they're playing the buttfuck Kentuckys, the Toledos, the St. Louis, the fucking Riverside. Like they're playing your amphitheaters. No offense to the Flyover State people, but like they're filling these spots. Shinedown, it's not doing Madison Square Garden. They're not doing the Forum. Like they're
Look,
not
I
doing
have
and
a
like no
I
one knows them.
when it comes to Shinedown, I don't like
You got a
talking about
Shinedown
them.
Connect?
No, I don't
You got
have a connection to them, but that's yeah, that's the band that the guy I lost my virginity to liked to play on the
damn.
acoustic guitar for me. But
He
that was a
lost it.
bad that wasn't even that was a interesting relationship that I don't wanna get into right now on this podcast, but let's just say it was complicated.
It
It
was
was a
complicated as
situationship,
fuck. Yeah.
so I don't wanna talk about it,
I'm
but
sorry
he
to hear
loved
that, Amanda.
himself some
Yeah.
Shinedown, so I
Dude
might
pulls
be
out some
scarred.
shine on the acoustic guitar.
Oh god, yes.
Amanda.
I know. In hindsight, I was so just a guy playing guitar for me, it's all I needed in my life. Okay, I learned my lesson. Anyway, but
I
yeah,
think that's where we take it home from.
I think we take it home. At the end of the day, it's not that we're gatekeeping what belongs in emo and what doesn't. Maybe a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's that we need to celebrate the different genres in a way so that we
Yes.
can understand
We're
the
not
history
talking
and
shit.
where
We're
this
not talking
music came
shit. It's just a
from.
matter of like, yeah, like
Yeah. Like
there's these things are
and then
categorized, not
also
in less or
yeah.
worse. It just categories.
Yes, and then also give the bands from those like, there's a bunch of bands they don't mention in, like, as far as emo, like American Football, Modern ba like, there's bands they don't even mention that are, like, Jawbreaker, things like that, that are emo, that don't get mentioned in these lists, and I'm like, "We're not even celebrating the past, and you're just lumping in just because they were popular, and they sounded
Yeah,
emotional
they
in
sound
their
close enough. Yeah.
lyricism, and they sounded close enough, so we're lumping them in." So let them celebrate their like what they've been able to do and accomplish within their own genres, but then give the people from our genre some type of credit as well and lift them up and not just, in our own scene, but beyond the scene. Like let the whole world know who Rites of Spring are, even like let them know who Sunny Day Real Estate is. They don't know. They need to know. So I think that's where we end it. I think that's where
What's
the
yeah?
it comes home
What's your
with.
what?
And
I only know one of them because it was the WrestleMania 22 theme song. Shout out John Cena taking the W over Triple H in the main
Oh,
event.
I'm trying to think of the
Yeah.
name of the song.
I
I have it
dare
in my
you. Is that
head.
what you think? He's like, I dare you to walk on. I dare you to.
It's
I don't know. I might
not
just be
that
making it
song.
up. Like, I feel like it's
No,
just
it
like,
is. I
is
dare
that,
you.
you know, tell me to walk on fly. I dare you to.
I think
I
it might
dare you
be
to.
I think it might be 45. I
I've
dare,
never, I've
do,
never
do.
heard any of these
Oh
songs.
god, what's the lyrics to this song? Hold on. Pause it. Hold on, I wanna play it right now for you.
Yeah, if you live within like 150
And
miles of
I'm
the
staring da
coastline, they don't play
and I'm
these
staring
songs.
down the barrel of a 45, 45, swimming
Is
through
he
the
doing gun
ashes
stuff
of
on
another
himself?
I don't know. Yes, 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 yes.
Fuck, heavy, bro.
That's a good
Yeah.
that's the song I've heard played for myself. Second Chances, I think, is a song that I'm familiar with the most.
I literally know one Shinedown song because Vince, because of
Tell
the
my
WWE.
mother, tell
I
my
know that one
father,
too. That one,
I've done the best
that
I
one kind of,
can.
that's a
Make
good
me
song.
realize
That's like,
this is not life.
that's a tight song. That's like a
Yes,
good
that's
Rise Against song, bro. Okay. That's
yes,
great. That is great butt rock. Tell mama. Yeah, I know that butt rock pop.
yes.
That's
And
great 2010s
yes,
butt rock pop.
exactly. And on that note, we're gonna leave you with that beautiful rendition of
Yeah.
Second Chances by Shinedown. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere where you can follow us on our podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
Subscribe,
Also check
YouTube,
out,
Apple. Yeah.
yep, check us
Check
out
out
on our
everything you
faith.
can.
Yep, check us out on socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, not Facebook, Emo Kids Anonymous.
No.
Also, I know I play a little snippet at the end about never
We have a Discord? I thought that was for pervs and stuff.
join the Discord, be a
You
part of
guys are
it,
doing stuff
talk
in
to
there
us.
already? Are we
Yeah,
doing
we
are we
are
saying it's
having
just for fun for
conversations.
promo reasons or is it actually real? It's actually
No,
cool?
it's cool. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
conversations. You
Okay.
can talk, meet with other NapNet folks and just have a good time. So check it out. But yeah, that's all I have
Welcome
for
to
today, Rob.
NapNet. Welcome to
Welcome to
NapNet.
NapNet.
Welcome to NapNet. I don't know. I guess we'll see you guys later.
Yep. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Hey, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you weren't aware, this show is a part of the Never a Phase Network, a collective of creators keeping the spirit of the scene alive. You can discover more shows and creators like this one at neveraphasenetwork.com and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Never a Phase Network. Long live NapNet.